Hey guys, Ben here from the Fibreglass Factory. Today we're going to be showing you the process of replacing the floor in this boat here behind me. This is for a customer. We're also going to be building custom ice boxes and doing some other little bits and pieces, fitting some seats and nicks and knacks. Before we get started, if you could do us a favour and hit the subscribe button, that'd be fantastic. So here is what the floor looks like, what the customer's already done. I've done a little bit of cleanup, just so it's a little bit tidier for you so you can see. There's been some rot in the stringers at the back and we're going to customise it a little bit. It did drop down at the back there. We're going to run the floor all the way straight through. We're going to be using marine ply today and then fiberglass over the top of that. We're going to be cutting out these seat wheel wells here and we're going to be turning these into custom ice boxes. He's wanting to replace these side panels. We're going to build some nice new fiberglass side panels, which is going to be interesting.
So at the moment I'm just cutting up some fairly heavy cloth because I want to build it up. I've got, what's that, 3 layers there. Then I'm going to start putting bigger patches over the top, which is going to go up and over the surrounding area on the inside. And I'm tearing it around the edge so that it feathers a little bit. Don't want sharp edges. We'll probably only do 4 layers at a time, just because we don't want it all getting too hot in there. 4 layers would probably be maximum. In colder temperature, in hotter temperature it's worse.
We're just up to the stage where I've put the stringers in. I've sort of half glassed them in, but I've got more glassing work to do with them. I've just screwed pieces to the side of them just to sort of hold them in position while I glass them all. I will just leave them there. And I've got some boards. They've also cut some hardwood boards that are going to be for where the seats get mounted, and they'll get screwed to the bottom of the floor. So my plan is to sort of prop them up in position with something underneath there so they sit there, and when I put the floor down I can screw into them and that will hold them fast against the floor. The floor doesn't reach right to the edge of the fiberglass, so I'm going to finish that off with a bit more fiberglass. I've got some scraps at work I'm going to bring in. Going to patch that in there and then glass over the top of that, and that'll do the last little bit. You'll see what happens when I put this marine ply in. I've cut the marine ply to size. All we have to do is finish off glassing the stringers, and also there's a hole at the back where there was a bung that I've got to glass up before I can start to fit the floor in. So where we're at with this boat, we have cut our stringers, we've fitted the stringers in. I just sort of tacked them in position with some timber here, and I've fiberglassed them in. I am going to screw through the fiberglass into the timber just to make sure that it's not going to delaminate, like an extra bit of precaution. I'm just using up a bit of resin here. I'm just coating my timber. I've coated the bottom half, but I'm just coating it, making sure everything's coated well. And that just is another protective layer to stop it rotting. What we've also done is we've got our seat mounts over here. So I've sort of jammed them in there where I wanted them, and then I put a bit of hot glue around them as well, just to hold them in there. So when we put this new floor in the next few days, we'll be able to just screw straight through the floor into the seat mounts. They'll just stay there until the seat mounts get mounted there. And it's all hardwood, so it'll be nice and strong where we'll be bolting our seats to. At the back, I've put a piece of timber just at the very back there for a bulge pump, so we can fit the bulge pump and pump any water that ends up in the hull and stop him from sinking. I've glassed up the holes. If you'd had
he had a cut in the side here. You can see where I've had to cut around, and I've glassed that up for him, and I'll patch up the outside as well. We're getting somewhere. It's a bit of a messy process. The clean stuff will come soon. The preparation work's always messy, so here's what it is. So here we are, we've finished our floor off, and we've also finished our ice boxes. So when we did the floor, so we fiberglassed it all. I did 2 layers of 450, and then after that I let that go off, and then I ground it with the 7-inch polisher or the 7-inch sander grinder. Went sort of roughed over it so that it was a bit smoother than what it normally comes out with fiberglass. And then after that, you actually mix up flow coat and you put sand in it. So I'll go and get some sand and I'll show you what it looks like. And you mix that in with the flow coat, and you get this nice rough texture that's really grippy. Here it is here. This is sort of a mixture of sandblast and garnet, and there's a little bit of beach sand in there as well. It doesn't have to be all exactly the same, it's sort of just whatever you want to do there. But yeah, no, it comes up really nice. So I did have a few spots not going off properly for me. I think it was because I had to stand on the floor when I was actually laminating it, and that was tricky, and I think I may have put some moisture into it, so it wasn't going off, so I had to grind it out and redo little parts of it. But you know, it's all done. It's come up quite well. Looks really neat. The ice boxes were a little bit of fun. I'll show you what I did here. So I cut this section out of this was a seat before this, and then I fiberglassed in behind it when this trough here was there, and then I flow coated it all and made it look nice. I've got some lids for it, and the customer's going to be over the moon. All right, thanks very much for watching. See you on the next video.